Good morning, Joe Hansen. Good to have you here. Talk to us what's happening outside Africa.
Good morning, guys. Well, a lot is happening outside Africa this morning, but let me quickly bring you up to speed. Let's start off first in the United States, where at least 7 shooting victims were hospitalized Sunday after a fight in downtown Orlando, Florida. The violence erupted around 2 a.m. Sunday after a large fight broke out. Orlando Police Chief Eric D. Smith has actually said. Now, an unidentified assailant pulled out a handgun and fired into the crowd, injuring 7 people. All 7 victims were taken to a nearby hospital where they were listed in stable condition, according to Smith. Now, authorities do not immediately have a description of the shooter. So, according to the non-profit gun violence archive, the United States, by the way, has had at least 381 mass shootings this year alone, guys. Now, that's an average of more than 1.7 mass shootings every day. So, if you take a look at that number and go by the calculation, you will be expecting to hear cases like this, crime cases, shooting cases, taking place in different parts of the United States. And so far, so good, they've had about 381 already. So, the question is, when is it going to stop? However, we'll look forward to bring all our viewers up to speed, especially when the assailant has been caught. Well, away from one sad story to another one now, let's go straight to Italy, where Italian police have arrested a man over the brutal killing of a Nigerian street seller, an attack that was filmed by onlookers in broad daylight without any apparent attempt to intervene. Now, video footage of the attack on disabled man Alika Ogochukwu has circulated widely on Italian newspaper websites and social media platforms. And I can tell you this, you will not like to see that video because it could break you into pieces. This was someone who was trying to put food on the table with his family, but I'll get to tell you why the attacker actually went ahead to attack him. But police said people can be heard saying, "Stop, stop, stop," while he was attacking the so-called Nigerian, but no attempts were made to separate the pair. That's the annoying part of that video. The wife of the victim, by the way, Charity Oriachi, said, "I need justice for my husband. That is what I want because it is too much." As you can see her on the screen there, she was indeed drained with tears on her everywhere. People came out en masse to ensure that everything did indeed go for justice, and that's what they're asking for. Now, his death has elicited outrage as Italy enters a parliamentary election campaign in which the right-wing coalition has already made immigration an issue. Now, the murder of Alika Ogochukwu is dismaying, Enrico Letta, that's the head of the left-wing Democratic Party, wrote on Twitter, naming the vendor who died on Friday. Now, throughout this weekend, everyone is still talking about that story, the sad death of Ogochukwu. Now, unheard of ferocity, widespread indifference, she also tweeted saying that this is indeed a sad one and there can be no justification for that man to die. Now, police have detained 32-year-old Filippo Claudio Giuseppe, as you can see him there on the screen. He was tracked down using street cameras after the vicious attack. Now, why did he attack the Nigerian? Well, here is the background to that story. The story simply is the very Nigerian who has been dead currently was actually working to feed his family. How? He lost his job when he got into when he was involved in an accident, and that actually saw him use the crutches to actually carry himself out, especially when it had to do with working and making sure he provides for his family. So this visitor or customer just passed by, and he simply told his companion that "you are beautiful." A compliment is what led to his death. Now, one would say on a Monday morning, seeing a man walk with his wife or his girlfriend, and you say, "Your wife is beautiful," shouldn't lead to you punching or throwing punches and killing him. Now, he was strangled, by the way, as he struggled to ensure that he could survive. Now, he's being held, talking about the culprit, on suspicion of murder and theft, and the later allegedly taken the victim's phone when he fled. So Mr. Ogochukwu was 39 years, was selling goods at midday on Friday on the main street of Civitanova Marsh, a beach town on the Adriatic Sea coast, and unfortunately, he lost his life. Well, that's one story that's trending as we talk about it right now in Italy. On Twitter, you find it, especially in the newspapers as well. Everyone is talking about that story. But let's now leave Italy now and go straight to the war. One of Ukraine's richest businessmen has been killed. with his wife in massive Russian shelling of the southern city of Mykolaiv. Oleksii Vadistovsky, 74, and his wife Reza died when a missile hit their home overnight, local officials have indeed come out to say. Mr. Vadistovsky owned Nibulun, a company involved in grain exports. He had also received the Hero of Ukraine award. Well, Mykolaiv Mayor Oleksandr Senkevich said it was probably the heaviest Russian bombardment of the city so far. There was damage to hotels, sports complex, to schools and a service station, as well as homes. Sadly, he was indeed one of those who lost their lives. The question is, when will the war stop? So there you have it. The latest stories are coming from outside of Africa. We'll take you to the United States, Orlando, about the shooting. Not forgetting to in Italy, the African, that's Nigerian, has lost his life. And of course, we've stopped here in Russia, where one of the big business tycoons indeed has also lost his lives due to the continued shelling. That's the story, guys. Back to you, Olive and Osalge.
Well, sad stories all around, but I'm mostly concerned about, our way of life, where, you see someone in danger and, people just watch, or bring out phones and take pictures or make videos instead of stepping in, into certain situations. That Nigerian life could have been saved if we didn't suddenly have this, new approach to situations, that we come across, which is to bring out your phone and take pictures or make recordings. It's just really sad.
It's really sad, and if you get to see the video, of course we can't put the video out for our viewers this morning, unfortunately, but maybe later on in our subsequent bulletins. But if you get to see that video, you could hear people just screaming, stop, 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 stop. And the Nigerian, the African man who definitely had a little problem, he's known to limp because of the accident in which he had. After he got involved in that accident, he lost his job. He was a laborer. He lost his job. He's got 2 children. So he actually resented to selling foods on the streets to ensure that he could feed his family. And Osage, what pains me the most is that it was just a compliment that led to this fight. But then again, could it have been avoided? Yes, it could have. And then could he have gotten help? All he needed to do, that had to take place was just 2 or 3 men rushing down to ensure that they could pull, stop that fight. But they kept watching, videoing, and it will shock you that if you go on YouTube, you find over more than 10 videos of this fight where people are indeed using it to get views.
This has sparked several reactions. It sparked conversations about racism as well, because there have been people who have asked, will the case have been different if it was an Italian man and not an African? But, this is just an unfortunate turnout of events, and we do hope that justice is meted out. Although, unfortunately, justice will not bring back the life of someone whose life was wasted, it would seem. Just a very sad story.
Very sad.
But thank you very much for joining us this morning on Outside Africa, Joe.
Thanks for having me, guys.